Iphalamende yelive laseSwatini ngendlu yabaye esikhulu nato timbunga tibekelewe nomsebenzi weqinisekisa ukuthi kule minyaka lesihlanu letako yakhona kufinyelela khona esiveni seMaswati kude lonke eliswati lapha even libe nalo live tindzabeni tayo intfutfuko yelive. Kwalelo muhla sikuvusele sikwemukele ihlelo Tasephalamende kunguyele lesibili ebusuku sethemba ngwane ukuthi imphela somvo lesibuya kuyo bekuphethe kahle imphela libito lami ngengisamkelisiwe ngwakakhoza kanti kwalelo muhle tindzaba lesikuphathele tona lo muhla kuletinye sawuqala ngayo indzaba emhlonishwa Mvunankulu Dlamini kulandzela ukuthi etfulele indlu ehloniphekile yabaye esikhulu umgomo noma a policy statement ukuthi engabe uhulumende intfutfuko utayithatha ayibhekisephi ngikuphi la singaqinisa khona itindzabeni tentfutfuko. Kanti kwalelo muhle ikhona nayo indzaba yendvuna yetiko letisebenti tembuso umhlonishwa Mabulala Maseko kulandzela sona sishukumise endlini lehloniphekile ukuthi engabe litiko lentani selendeni iqinisekisa ukuthi isigaba sesibili sekubukotwa kwamaholo awo ema-security junior officers lapha even laseSwatini uhulumende uyachubeka naso uyasifeza. Kanti kwalelo muhle lesikhathi samanje sivele siye khona endlini yabaye esikhulu sivele na umhlonishwa Mvunankulu Dlamini aniketa tona timphendvulo endlini lehloniphekile kulandzela ukuthi iphalamende yelive idzingidze yona umbiko wayo emhlonishwa Mvunankulu ngayo indzaba yentuthuko yelive laseSwatini.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ngicela kubonga ngemvumo yakho, Mr. Speaker, ngibonge na wonke malunga for their constructive debate of the policy statement, which to me is an indication that it is a very good policy statement. So ngiyajabula ngawo nangale debate lekhona. Ngicela kusho Mr. Speaker kwekuqala kwekuthi la kule policy statement there's a problem statement. Problem statement la ibonile umhlonishwa ngala ngamuva lephume esibayeni. Athi eMaswati kunanathi tinkinga nathi efeni. Letinkulu. Letinkinga letikhona letinkulu atiye emuva atiye embili. For the past several years sibone poverty ikhula, sabone unemployment ikhula, sabone ama institutions ethu esikhundleni ukuthi aqine aba weaker. So ke it is angithi ukulungisa lokulosokonakela ukuthi kuze kuthi lokhu letinkinga letiphumile esibayeni letibhekane nalabantu labasuwalela sonke sisuka khona sitilungisa kanjani. Ithi ke le policy statement na indlela yokuthi silungise letinkinga letikhona. Mr. Speaker, any plan that does not do that ihluleka nje ekuqaleni to address lama challenges. It is granted that this statement that was presented to the House and that are motivating lamhlanje ukuthi the House and every Liswati should rally behind ukuthi sisi implemente sisebende. Kufanele ukuthi sibuke ukuthi nasingeke ngisimplemente nje sisimplemente sonke kanye kanye. In fact, I can guarantee Mr. Speaker ukuthi nasingake siphalamende singihulumende singeMaswati si-implemente nje 50% waso uyawubona kuguquka kwemnotho welive lakangwane. Angeke sende info lencane kunale, because if we do that we will continue on the trajectory that we are on. What trajectory is that? We are just maintaining. Yeah, we are maintaining nje ukuthi sikhule kancane. But the social ills have overtaken the economic growth, have overtaken any idea of prosperity, of thriving in Maswati. We need exponential growth. And this plan is proposing a plan that will later exponential growth to be able to meet the needs of Maswati. There are three tenets of a very good strategic plan, and this policy statement has all three. Number one is ambition. So this policy statement is very ambitious. And the good thing about ambitious strategies is that it attracts or stimulates intellectuals to want to be part of the implementation of the plan. Number two, it is that it must be innovative. This plan, Mr. Speaker, is innovative. Most of the MPs here have been inquiring, this plan proposes innovative means of mobilizing resources to fund the plan. It is not quiet in terms of where the resources are going to come from. The very plan indicates that there is need, to grow the economy, to be innovative, to find innovative ways to fund the plan. And therefore it is innovative. And because of that, we meet the second tenet of a very good strategic plan. The last one is being realistic. Mr. Speaker, I must apologize that the House did not get the plan of action that supports the policy. There is a plan of action. Let's say, yintindvo lesitawutenda and ngisho ukuthi malunga etindlu athatha ngabona ukuthi ayikhona ingenteka lento le ngiyakholwa ukuthi kutatsi lingapheli ilanga Mr. Speaker itabe ingenile bayibone leyo plan of action lokubhekile ukuthi siyenda kanjani, what can we do to ensure that the policy is implemented. Ngicela kusho nekubuta nje, Mr. Speaker, a rhetoric question, not that I expect a response. There was an assertion that the plan is a wish list. It is impossible to implement. What is an alternative? What is the alternative? If we don't want an ambitious plan, what is the alternative? There's doing one and the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Let's do something different. In fact, if we aim, if we aim at the sky, we can fall on the clouds. Here we are aiming high. And I'm saying, if we can just do 50% of what we are planning to do, this country will never be the same again. Number one, it is not a mistake that on the policy statement is change of mindset. It is deliberate. Because singemaswati sesitibukele phasi kakhulu. We don't believe in ourselves. Anything that is leqhamuka emaswatini sibukela phansi, sithathela phasi, angeke izisebenze, uqabanga ukuthi uyini, sikubukela phasi lokungekwethu. Bese ke lokuqhamuka outside the country ngisho noma kukubi kangakanani kungiko ke lokuthi uthinte i-head office lekuphi lithinte live langesheya umhlaba wonke uthi, without even seeing whether that is suitable for Maswati. I motivate Mr. Speaker, that this is the best policy that we can follow to address directly the challenges that came from Msibai. Bese ngicela kungena nje kafishane ngiphendule a few of the questions that have been raised in this house. Kukhona umhlonisha weqala usithobelweni ukhulume nge-food security, ngathi food security ngoba ukhulume ngekudla. Kumqoka bahlonisha wekuthi the solutions that we try to bring to the problems that we face in our communities, we must also think sustainably. Bakhona nje lapha labakhulumile ngiyajabula ukuthi letinye inkulumo tebahlonishwa tiyaphambana. Ukhona nje lothi lila isilungile kepha sesithole na lokukhosini. Ngoba siyathi kwekuthi bantu kufuna angafi umuntu. So lokudla kwekuthi ubambise lelithumbu. Kepha mbamba we need a permanent solution to the food insecurity challenges. One of those solutions, the Ministry of Agriculture has already finished their strategic plan. They have one for food sovereignty. And if this parliament will ensure that the Ministry of Agriculture receives the resources that they need within 2 years. Indlala beyoba info lengasadiwe eveni. Ngicela kukhuluma ngale 12% economic growth rate. In 2021, the GDP growth was about 10.7%. That's double digit. So 12% is not impossible. It is possible. And kube bahlonishwa bese yawubambana sibambane nana uhulumende sibambane nane sive semaswati sonke. I strongly believe ukuthi siyamshaya lo double digit. This policy is based on research, is based on best practices in the world. It is. You don't need to have studied economics or you need to have gone to school. It is always debated in the UK, in the US, that if you want to grow the economy, you inject cash into the economy. You don't take it out. And this is what this policy proposes, and this is what this policy does. Invest in infrastructure to stimulate the economic growth. Invest in critical sectors to stimulate the economic growth. And so our target of 12% is a good target. It is a target. It is what we aim for. We may reach it, we may not reach it, but we are confident that if we all put our efforts together, we're going to reach that. I agree that government should be revamped, and that is what we are currently doing. The policy speaks about modernizing the public service. So we acknowledge that, we recognize that, saying under health right there, that umhlonishwa uphinze wakhuluma ngokuthi how is this umhlonishwa kwakalubamba lomdzala ukhulume ngokuthi sitayifunda kanjani lento. We need to be innovative and creative how we are going to fund that, because we realize that now we need to do many things at the same time that are costly. Now, but lengakusho nje ukuthi akabhekeki ukuthi konke lokhu kutawuqhamuka kuhulumende. The funding of this plan, it's extremely important for us to understand that. I'm making an example that must be clear. We can choose to build a referral hospital, but the referral hospital can be built completely by the private sector and be run by the private sector, to the level where we will not need to go to South Africa. Bahambe ngaphalala. So instead of going outside the country for treatment, they can be treated here. But we will have a state-of-the-art hospital in the country. But that doesn't mean, and that is run by the private sector. That is the innovation and the change of the mindset that we need to have in the country. It is true that we have not had enough bills coming to the House. Mr. Speaker, I can assure you that just as much as you have done this afternoon, we've also done that at Cabinet to encourage ministries to bring imisebenzi. In fact, one of the key activities for Onkema ministries, they must even review outdated or old legislation. So, manege siyazi ukuthi sonke sichijela eofficeini la AG, so ke nabo baka AG kufuna ukuthi batinike isikhathi, kepha ke sibonile ukuthi vele bayasebenta ngoba nakungena banesikhathi lesithithe ukuthi bese sekuyaphuma, so kuyaphuma sekuthi nje nasekutawufika la kuwe Mr. Speaker, kutawufika sekukunyentanyana. Kodwa I know even now that we have at least 3 yemthetho lekhona ngala. Kunemhlonishwa lapha lokhulume ngidanisa umhlonishwa wakolobamba lokhuluma parliament building ngicela nje lokusho ukuthi hulumende abambisene nayo parliament so wende cishe konkhanyana lokungalanga kithi lokufanele kwendeke sesimele bona labasinike imali kwekuthi ba clearishe kwekuthi sicale kusebenza lokunye uhulumende nelibandla lakwendile kwekuthi sicinzetele kwekuthi ingacala kusebenza le mali lekucalwe ngayo lokuvumelelwe ngayo ingabe seyikhula kakhulu. So we have engaged adequately and we continue to engage with the Republic of India with regards to lokwakhiwa kwePhalamende. Sonke sesishiswa titulo ngoba besibheke ukuthi icale nga-August siyalandzelela ukuthi sokwende njani. There are details leba waprovidile nge-response ukuthi bendani nyalo on their side. We are waiting them to finish kuloko yakhiwe ePhalamende. Ngicela kusho bahlonishwa ngendzaba yomgwaqo. Kwekuthi cabinet did discuss indzaba yomgwaqo and wavele wayiprioritize. Njengoba sikhuluma nje kukhona lokulungiswa ngayo lokuyimali yokwakha imigwaqo. Minister of Finance will speak utawukhuluma ngaloko. Kusho ngalamanye amagama indzaba yomgwaqo sesiyikhulumile ecabinet sesiyilungisile. Sekuma processes nje ngoba i-ADB is processing finances for imigwaqo ukuthi iqale yendiwe. So from our desk lelihlangatho lemigwaqo nje sekuyawuvela ukuthi ithik asisayibuki. Indzaba ye-UNESCO indzaba ye-university ngicela kusho mhlonishwa ukuthi sibhekile nje ukuthi ungapheli lomnyaka sibe sesitholile i-report ne-plan of action le-detail ukuthi how do we correct the issue ye-University of Eswatini. I must say ukuthi I have full confidence on the team. I-cabinet yabuka i-team le beyikhona yathi no, this team is weak, is not going to be able to do this. Kwabuya lenye team leqinile zathi this is the team that is going to be is going to give us my recommendations to transform University of Eswatini. Having said that, I must say that we are working very closely with the university to ensure that those that are recruited in the into key positions are people who are capable, who will be able to transform the university. Manege siyathi ukuthi umkhumbulo omkhulu awuvela ujikela. Umkhumbulo omkhulu uhamba lapha. Ujika bengikhana ubuya la. But akusho ukuthi awuhamba uyahamba. So it is the same thing with the University of Eswatini. We have a highly capable team. The faculty industries of captains of industries in the country, ifake education specialists and other learned people. ICT, Eswatini is targeting to be an artificial intelligence hub. We know all the steps that have been taken towards that. I think if we look at the plan of action, Lengiti will be sent to you, you will notice that there are a lot of activities on ICT. The only challenge is, I think in the policy, we were trying to be concise and we included that as ICT infrastructure. I think ICT infrastructure is there. We can elaborate on what we are going to do with regards to ICT. We acknowledge we're going to see it is highly submerized in that area. Again, the plan of action is much more elaborative and because we were avoiding the policy statement to be more prescriptive. When is the current plan coming? We are about 40–45% into developing the current plan. The plan is to have the current plan by end of February. Now, it is easy to say that it has taken too long. But Batonisha, let's be realistic. Unless we want to do the same thing, the things that have been done over and over again, by us as a nation, we need to do things differently. Ake ngibekise Mr. Speaker ngemvumo yakho. Ngoba bangakhohlwa abahlonishwa ukuthi ngitsite we need to change the mindset. Inkukhu ifukamela for 3 days, for 21 days. Bese kuba nenja le meter for how many days? 3 weeks. 3 months. Angathi labavika qhamuka for 3 months. Umuntu uthethwala for 9 months. Indlovu ithethwala for 24 months. Inja noma ingulube ibe seyitele letelwe ngesikhathi sikhulela kanye ibe seyitele yona lelenye indlovu isengatala solo lo mntwana laswini but nayitalwa le ndlovu iphuma inkulu kunaloku lesekukwathi kwatalwa inkulu ingaka ithi iphuma nje loku lokuncane loku ingavele ukuthi ibhiji. So we are preparing a grand plan. And it's not a short-term plan, but it's a long-term plan. Minimum of a 30-year plan to transform the economy of the country. Ngicela kuhamba ngiphinze ngibuyele the future is urban. What do we mean the future is urban? Mr. Speaker, it is predicted that 70% of the population in the world will be urban, and that 30% of the 70% will come from Africa. So that means 30% of the population that will urbanize within the next few years will come from Africa, including Eswatini. So urbanizing does not mean that we are actually ignoring the rural areas. No, it means we need to go to the rural areas and plan properly for their urbanization. Kuze kokuthi singendi ema-shanty towns lonke lelive kwateke ukuthi kuhleliwe kahle. Infrastructure is planned. Settlement is properly planned. So urbanization does not mean exclusion of the rural areas. Ngiyacela bahlonishwa ukuthi ngidawuphinze ngigcizelele Mr. Speaker through you ukuthi not only today but even in other dates other days in future when we debate imithetho, when we ask questions sikubuke ukuthi lokhu lesikwenza ukuthi ku-sustainable yini. Lo mnye umhlonishwa lapha ngicabanga ukuthi umhlonishwa wasemafutheni ukhale ngokuthi kunema-factory shells lakhiwele emakhaya. It's such a conflict where ukuthi phela lama-factory shells akhelwa le emakhaya kuze ukuthi labantu basuke emakhaya bafike la kuma-factory bangashiyi la makhaya bethe kutohlala la phinze konakale ma-families kwente nema-social ills. It is a proper plan. It is a good plan. Ukuthi kuthathwe lo msebenzi umikiswe le emakhaya. And that is a plan that must be maintained. Bantu bahlale emakhaya, bahlale nabogogo, bahlale nabomkhulu, bavuke baye emsebenzini babuyele emakhaya. Tawakha live nakwendeke njani. One of the lendlela lo mnye umbutho loqhamukile la kwekuthi anyway but ngibhale lapha nge-borrowing plan nange-funding models. One other thing that we must change and that we must do better is that we need to look at the strategic interventions that we have planned, strategic interventions that we will include in the current plan. And then what else are we going to prioritize? and then put that in a plan so that as silimita kuboleka kwethu sathi ukuthi we borrow to invest for growth, we do not borrow for consumption. And the borrowing plan is going to help us do that as well. Ngicabanga umhlonishwa Bongosi nangaphosisile ukhale ngokuthi i-university isehlulwa ngumntwana munye ngumfati munye sesingaba nabafati lapha. Aw kepha ke singethe sakubuka lokho singethe sasho ukuthi na uphuyile ungabi nemfati noma ude imali ungaqebi kodwa umfati nawe kufuna ube naye uphile. Sikhuluma ngegrowth kwekuthi nasibuka umhlaba ithini future. Sikhuluma nge-ICT, nge-artificial intelligence, sikhuluma nge-science and technology. We need that. And the university that we are planning to build, we are looking at innovative ways of making it self-sustaining. Innovative from the beginning, that the university should be self-sustaining. So we should not be afraid. The investment that the country will make should actually bring more returns that are commensurate with the investment that we will make. Ngicela sihlalo sengicela ukukushiya lokunye ngicabanga ukuthi sengikhulumile kakhulu sihlalo kwekuthi Mr. Speaker kwekuthi this policy, government policy, njengoba bahlonishwa babutile nje babuta kangaka ngiyo kahle lephendvula letinkinga ukuthi ama solutions lesingawathola kule tinkinga letivuliwe nginaka. And singete sa ukuthi siemela ukuthi fanele sifike la kanti donatithi asifike lapha kuze ukuthi kube nenhlala kahle eSwatini. Siyacela Mr. Speaker kwekuthi indlu yonke the private sector nemaswati onke asekele lo mgwaqo lo lesesiwakhile we policy statement kuze ukuthi sikhone ukutransforma live la kaNgwane. Siyabonga.
Sibonga kakhulu mhlonishwa Ndunankulu, siyabonga Nkosi ema detailed response ngiyethemba abahlonishwa lokunye sebawukuthola ngalenye ilanga kepha ke ngibona umhlonishwa DS uyandicate la umhlonishwa DS.
Siyabonga mhlonishwa Speaker, sibonga naku mhlonishwa Ndunankulu ngisukuma Speaker njengelisekela lakho maybe ku guide the right honorable Prime Minister kuthi phela malunga vele Prime Minister kule mikhakha week you might have ube privy to some information lesite yona so makata ukukhuluma nje malunga abuta ngale ku urbanizer abadi you know so alehli kahle lo ningakhuluma ngathi nikhuluma nje emoyeni ku guide nje the right honorable Prime Minister ukuthi going forward ngoba sisetaba nawe eParliament ma standing orders nje sawalungisa Speaker uma ungakhumbula la sta ukhulumisa khona questions time for Prime Minister so le language yala Parliament akufuneke eve malungazo eyilapha sesiyakhoboseka you know sithe nama facilities vele kwenda la uma research and all that so we're just politicians. It's for the head of government to guide and asikhulise as number 2 the Minister of Parliament. Bekungiloko nje Speaker sike sakubona before lapho head of government khona athi emalunga yanhlahlatha. We don't want to go back to that era. Ngikhuluma nje njenge lilunga leParliament lelanga ekhathi ukuthi la umagama la ungathi ayacoshama wangosazame kuwa balabalekela ngiloko Speaker.
Sibonga kakhulu umhlonishwa DS, umhlonishwa wakalo uhamba lomthana.
Konza tingolomo ngisukuma ngeke ukuthi angatholi ukuphenduleka kulama issues lengwarezile. And I would like to know because angikhulumeli Well, ngiyacabanga uzabakhuluma ngalabanye ukuthi bakhulumele emaphepha. Anyways, vamise kubona yena emaphepheni kanenge umntwana Nkosi bamkhipha kanenge. Noko ke I'm saying angawathole impendulo tami, Mr. Speaker. I asked ukuthi how is this going to be financed? Uthi asikusekele. We would like to support. But umangabe Mr. Speaker kungaphumi ukuthi how is it going to be financed? Uyositshela Minister of Finance. Kulungile kuyositshela Minister of Finance. Uyositshela nini kanjani because today is not his show. Nangabe bakhochana akabuye prime ngana finance abuya sitshela ngalelanga lathi asitshela ngayo ukuthi oh lolo bokhunywa ngiduna kulungu but singasali nje sigangene. You know, it is very key for me ukuthi singathi lento lena ukuthi nangabe kuthiwa ngiyayisupporta ngisupporta into eta finance kanjani. Uyabona. Thank you Mr. Speaker. Lokukhuluma lokunye lokhunywa ngi-DS siyakubona nje Mr. Speaker sitakusebenza ngalinye
Siyabonga Mhlonishwa walobamba lo mthana. Bahlonishwa ngicabanga ukuthi njengoba siconza bahlonishwa ukuthi bekuyi policy statement le folish under ministerial statement. So bahlonishwa sebalithola lithuba ba debater umhlonishwa Ndunankulu walithola lithuba wa responda bahlonishwa banadoke letinye indlela te communicator ne cabinet lokunye lokungabonakala ukuthi kusele mhlawumbe seningakwenda bahlonishwa in a way of a motion lokunye seningakwenda in a way of questions so lelithuba ngeleno sisebenta kanye sakhe hulumende munye sibambisane bahlonishwa unless nangabe kukhona Ndunankulu lova ngathi kusele longafuna ukwendlulisa nyalo over to you Nkosi.
Ngiyabonga Mr. Speaker kumqoka ukuthi ngikuphendule lo mbuto wemhlonishwa Khumalo la uvaka ukuthi akuphenduleki kahle. Ngishito ukuthi ikhona la kule policy statement lesho ukuthi we will look at innovative funding models ukuthi finance the plan of action. But kukhona lokuvele kusobala noma ngithi lese ngivele ngakusho la. Otherwise lamanye models they are work in progress. Njengoba sikhuluma Mr. Speaker, development here sovereign wealth fund is on progress. The sovereign wealth fund is also being developed for the country. Now, let us see ukuthi see attract more investments to finance critical interventions from this policy statement, from this government plan of action. Lenye model le PPP, lokusho public-private partnerships. Lenye futhi lokuthi state-owned entities should actually partner with the private sector, or we give them a guarantee, they borrow for growth. As government, we give them guarantees so that they borrow for growth and bring more investments into the country and hire more people. So when we create more jobs, more people will pay tax. And when more people pay tax, the national budget grows. I'll give you an example, Mr. Chairman. Uzoguti, Mr. Speaker. Kube besi ngathola a mega investment or several of them. Lang tunje, in total ku hire at least 20,000 people. Laba patala not less than or on average 5,000 Malangani tax. 5,000, you know. That will give us $1 billion Malangan annually into our tax coffers. So that will increase our revenue, and that it will increase, the interventions that we fund. So this has been thoroughly thought through, Mr. Speaker. Kune sovereign guarantee, na lenga yenda hulumende ayende for MSOEs, state-owned enterprises. My partnerships abesengwashito borrowing plan ngishito ikona ne angithi IDA, International Development Assistance, from our partners from international finance institutions, which are now willing to give us more concessional loans. EMA loans are cheaper, in other words, affordable for us. And so because of that, they give us, more leeway to borrow and finance our growth. Ngiyabonga, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Sibonga kakhulu Mhlonishwa Ndunangulu bahlonishwa ngicabanga ukuthi ku statement semhlonishwa sesicishe sifike ekugcineni kuyabonakala ukuthi kungaba kuhle ukuthi mhlawumbe mathuba nakavela Ndunangulu boba mnenge eParliament enkosi utohle usukuma nje udebate ezinichubeka ni debate kudebatewa kuyakufuza lenye indlela yokuthi kufundwe ngokona lokho. So nali khona lithuba ngosi in the country bahlonishwa ngiyababona ukuthi bangajabula ukuthi boba khona into debate nabo kufanele kakhulu ngosi ukuthi ube khona uma ngabe nje ulaveni uvele nje ube khona eParliament because you are part of us so that is not debate kanye kuyawusisita lokho kakhulu. Thank you so much Mr. Clerk.
iPhalamende elive laseSwatini nembala yachubeka nemsebenzi wokuqinisekisa ukuthi kude liswati lelisalela emuva kanti kulesikhathi samanje ke ngwane lomuhle njengoba lapha ehlelweni hlale sikuphasele tona tindzaba letinyende kulesikhathi samanje sawubuyela khona endlini yabaye esikhulu kulandzela ukuthi indvuna yetiko letisebenti tembuso umhlonishwa Mabulala Maseko etfule umbiko endlini lehloniphekile yabaye esikhulu ukuthi engabe vele sigaba sesibili sekubuketwa kwamaholo junior security officers lapha event laseSwatini khamba kanjani indaba yesikhulu ke bese nakhona iyawudzingisa lo mbiko wayo indvuna ke kulesikhathi samanje singene kuye siyiva iphendvula wona emalunga endlu ehloniphekile yabaye esikhulu.
Angibonge Honorable Speaker. Ngibonge nje nalomdlandla lomuhle lokhonjisa abahlonishwa ukuthi ubafuna ukuyikhulumisa lendzaba le. Kufanele bahlonishwa babuye enkundleni bakhethiwe Speaker. Kuyabita ukuthi into bayibude. Bese ke sesiyaphendula nathi Honorable Speaker. Ngicela ke ukuqala ngalokuvete umhlonishwa MT kungikhani ngitase ngiyangena ke ngiyaphendula. Uthi akeva kahle lapha conclusion yami. Kepha ke sengambona ukuthi kwendiwe yini ukuthi angeva kahle Speaker. Asengifunze ithi may I assure this honorable house that any concerns that the junior security officers may have kwasala khoma phela will be taken care of by the consultant currently on the ground conducting the much awaited salary review for all civil servants. Singisinje lesihlobile bese akasiva kahle umhlonishwa ngilokhoma ngithi cha siyabonga mhlonishwa. Honorable Speaker, angicale ngokuveta ekutheni lendzaba vele inzala le idata ku2014 okay bayilanza nasemuva njengoba nami ngeke ngamveta 2008 inzala. Kepha ke Honorable Speaker, ngikhona phela nginduna ngikhonela kusebenza ngiyacela mina bahlonishwa labahloniphekile nginikeni lelithuba ngoba vele bese ngiqalile ngisebenza ngimane ngiconclude futhi le ndlela le ngisebenta ngayo ngivetile Speaker ekutheni ngisebenza ngebucotho ngishito ngathi ngathanze amaphoyisa ekhaya bomnakethu kunemaphoyisa kunemawada kunemasotsha kubagcwele nehlobo dami. Sengithi ke Honorable Speaker lokhu kahle bathi ngenela kadzeni ngevathi baqasha njani bathi ngenela kadzeni nalongela mako nje umnakethu usembuthweni nale kumela mako. Kepha ke Honorable Speaker lengithi anguvete ukuthi phela ngiyacela lo ukuthi asihambe through i-consultant. Kulo phase 2 labakhuluma ngayo kude bekubaliwe speaker. Uma ngabe kulo phase 1 kwathatha kwaqiniswana phela mina angikwende kube neat. Ngingathi ngobe konakala ngichubeke nami ngone. Phela mina sale ngicorrecta ngihambe ngalendlela lengiyo. Awungathi nangabe ubona umuntu angena ngelifastelo bese ngithi nami ngito correcta angene ngelifastelo. Kuyatiwa lokho singena ngemnyango. Ngiyacela lokho speaker asi address through i-consultant. Kuze leti ndzaba titosebenteka kahle kunetiseke wonke umuntu. Kube ngikhuluma nge-consultant leseta ngakha kuyakhulunywa ukuthi awu kumbe awusho yona lendzaba le ngoba siyibone consultant. Ngiyasho ngithi consultant is on the ground isebenta yona speaker seyifikile ngisho nasemaphoyiseni bakhulunyiswa kepha ke nakho ke seyikhona ke isePhalamende lamuhla lesekwida ke ukuthi ngiphendvule sengisho ukuthi speaker asinikeni consultant yente lomsebenzi neke ukuthi speaker akusho kokuthi ma junior langazange athola junior officers langazange athola kuphela uma utayibuka le report iyakuveta nokuthi labanye laba senior speaker abazange ba benefit ukhona nje ngisathi assistant commissioner akazange athola yena kwaba u0 lokusho kona lokuthi speaker akusho nje ukuthi kumbe kwaniwa nje bonke labasetulu kwashiwa bonke labangaphansi bekubukwa nje ngokuthi kuyalinganiswa njengoba ngishito ngathi bekulinganisa nemasoja ukuthi ababe ku same level ungaba kusetulu ungaba ngaphansi honorable speaker honorable speaker lo khulumile oqala kube ngumhlonishwa Ndunankulu cha ngikuthatha ngidawombe ngikhetha ngeke ngikuthathe konke ngumhlonishwa Ndunankulu lo site ngebe consultant ivele mbamba itsheliweni lokuthi ikubuke lo ngayinika ine assurance cha speaker bekafuna ukuthi ngigcizelele umhlonishwa Ndunankulu besinaye emhlanganweni itolo akhona nemaphoyisa yebo ke bekubaphathi kuva ukuthi vele kukhona into kwentiwako cha basho lokuthi vele befikile emahlandla lamabili nekokuthi akhulunyisiwe nale junior staff honorable speaker bekafuna lokuthi angigqizelele ngalama magama ngoba uze washo wathi lengukhulumako kuliqiniso sengisho ukuthi ke ngifuna ucisha nangumoya lo vela uthi awu engazi ukuthi anikhulumisani ecabinet cha siyakhulumisana lenzaba lena seyikhulunyiswa kanenge sikhulumise nawe usese induna uyakhumbula nawe sesekhona ngale nge11th parliament sayikhulumisa lenzaba le ngilapho khona kwase kufika 4% labanye bathi angimchazeke lo 4% lokuthi vele uqhamuka kuphi kumbhesa kuphi kushito honorable speaker ngathi vele nongakuthi asengichaza ukuthi 4% sambhesa kuphi ngide ngichazelo kungako nithi lokunengi sale ku addresswa yini I consultant thina ngaleso sikhathi bese kukubhula simo kubuyisa simo eveni ngalokuthi bese kungasasiko kahle sayifaka ke le mali le speaker kuthi sibhula simo I addressa lo phase 2 angasho ke ukuthi ke fully noma partial ngithi nje yayi addressa phase 2 kepha kuyavela vele lokuthi kwam addressa lo phase 2 partially and therefore kungako sesithi ke asifake le consultant speaker ito lungisa lo msebenzi lobonakala ukuthi wonakala neyokuthi speaker ngiyanxusa solo ngiyanxusa bahlonishwa lokuthi phela uma ngabe tikhona into letithinta ema civil servants ngiyacela lokuthi sinikeni si public service njengobe bese ngivele phela siyisebenza siqhubeke nayo ngoba uma ngabe itasi yangenelela ekhathi itasi yonakala nabe nje kuthiwa nje nyalo angiyobhadala seyonakala ngoba phela sengitawubhadala ngibe ngubhayisa kuphi speak ngoba kufanele kube netinombolo sakha letinombolo kenyalo through le consultant honorable speaker kungako ngithi ngiyacela bahlonishwa kunalokho sisidilele umsebenzi sithi ayijikwe ngaphandle ke report sekudilela lo msebenzi kanti lo msebenzi sovele ukumotion uyasetshenzwa honorable speaker ngicela nje siuyekele uchubeke bahlonishwa ube concluded kahle however in case kutawuba nema appeals ngilapho ke khona bataseke baya appeala speaker sebayasho ukuthi
Ngase induna behloniphekile. Mhlonishwa akalobamba lomtha.
Just a point of clarification, Mr. Speaker, ukuthi induna ngiva kahle yini ukuthi imangabe indlu ngayi-accept le report sho umsebenzi consultant uyema that manje bengisakhuluma na speaker ngicela ungiprotect speaker
Induna lehloniphekile yekela umhlonishwa akhulume na speaker.
indzaba yisekuthenini what is contained in the report, my understanding, is that ngiko lokungasi acceptable kula malunga. But yena ngale process yakhe lachubeka ngayo akasho malunga ukuthi mani ke lapha. I don't think that is the spirit, Mr. Speaker. Ngileyo clarification nje lengithi angi-offerish. Thank you.
Sibonge mhlonishwa akalobamba lomtsala. Induna lehloniphekile yaka public service.
Asibonge speaker cha angisho ukuthi i-consultant kumbe sale ngasawusebenzi lo msebenzi honorable cha lenguvetako nje mina ngithi kungawudelay nangabe phela sekuthiwa angimise kumbe nale consultant engasasebenzi ngijake kuyobhadala ngoba kutawufuna ngiphinde ngicalele phansi kuyondiwe ma calculations honorable speaker lo sotawukhanda ke sekudelay lo msebenzi kanzi inyalo sevele ikumotion bahlonishwa ngilona philisi ngilona khamba lengicela lokuthi asilithathe. This is an honorable house ngiyakholelwa lokuthi itawufuna lokuthi asithatheni phela indlela lengiyo letawukhorisha lesifo lesikhona kanti phela nasitawuyithatha nje haphazardly hambe uyobhadala honorable minister ngilole ngisho ukuthi based on what speaker ngiyacela phela ukuthi nangabe bekwento eliphuthe ekuqaleni angingaliphinzi speaker lo hloniphekile labanye bahlonishwa babuta athi ingabe ngiyawathanda yini amaphoyisa ngishito ngathi ngiyathanda abahlonishwa bahlonishwa labanye bayabuta speaker ekutheni vele lokho ngabe kutawenteka yini ngoba babona ukuthi kwente kanjani ekuqaleni nakhona ngashorishe speaker ukuthi vele speaker say public service mina in particular lenkinga ngi-inheritile kepha ke ngayikhomba i-energy nemdlandla wokuthi honorable speaker ayibe addressed kungako bahlonishwa ngithi ngiyafunga phambi kwenu ngicela ningithembe bahlonishwa ngithembeni bahlonishwa ngicetse i-consultant loki on the ground speaker itabe seyicetsile la kubo January February ngoba phela ibukela tonke isebenta kahulumende nekokuthi ke iyawabukela emaphoyisa akufanele sikwende budlapha sikujake ngoba kutase kuyonakala asikwende sikunikele process lefanele ihambe ngayo ngiloko nje speaker kungendeke budlapha ngiyanxusa abahlonishwa azange sengiwakhuluma emanga kulendlule ngiyacela lokho ukuthi mane ningisekele bahlonishwa imane bahlonishwa iphase le report bahlonishwa bami ninginike lelithuba ngisebende mhlonishwa lobamba ngiyacela mhlonishwa MT ngiyacela ningisekele bahlonishwa cha ngilo kunokukhala futhi bahlonishwa labakuvedile basho ukuthi lenzaba lena seyidrage kakhulu true bahlonishwa idrage kakhulu ngiyavuma but phela bekungakefiki bahlonishwa senisho ukuthi lokhu sengikhona ngeke ngisayisodwa ngoba phela ngidikhombisile taba lo 4% uqhabukekile nanyalo ngiyayiona ngithi nginikeni ngihambe ngiyoyisebenza angumfaki ngisho nanduna kunkulu kanti kube mbambamba ikhuliswa mbamba ngabe ihake kamhlonishwa nduna kulo kepha ke ngalothi sekimi ngithi bahlonishwa ngithumeni ngisathumeka ngimane ngisebenzele indzaba lena ngicethe ngidawuthi ngitobika kuyona le parliament le nekokuthi ke ngivile umhlonishwa MT akhuluma into leqiniso indzaba ye-caucus vele beyiba khona mhlonishwa ngidawucela lokuthi kumbe leso spirit sibuye nekokuthi ngihle kuni-update la kule caucus lokho ukuthi sekuhambe kangakanani phela nyalo ngikhuluma ngoba sengelusiwe ngiluswe ngini siswebhunasi la duda nejokinali sengisho ukuthi-ke ngiloko bahlonishwa lengithi angucele bahlonishwa labahloniphekile ayimane iphase iripoti ngiyosebenzela emaphoyisa embube ngiyosebenzela emawada ngisebenzele wonke umbutho wembube ekutheni lo msebenzi ube concluded kahle ngicela ngingasahambi ngamunye ngikanti lebe kufunakala ngileyo summary le ngoba nangavula ngamunye vele awu ngagcine kushaya 12 honorable speaker siyabonga
cha sibonge bahlonishwa sibonge induna lehloniphekile yaka public service awu sayibekile induna abahlonishwa ngiyethemba abahlonishwa bayivile induna ukuthi ithi yawuyisebenta lendzaba emaphoyisa elive kuze usebenteke even bahlonishwa it has been moved ngokuthi le report lehloniphekile yenduna yaka public service report le report yenduna yaka public service lebe niyikhulumisa abahlonishwa lese niyikhulumise kahle kakhulu kangaka isale iphasa kule ndlu labavumelana naloko abathi hayi nabangavumi bathi nay the nays have it and the nays have it sibonge bahlonishwa kepha ke indvuna ichubeke yende umsebenzi lokubalekile ngilokuthi isetshenzwe lendzaba ifike ekugcineni
Ngwane lomuhle hlelo Tasephalamende lomuhle ngalesibili ebusuku silishaya silibeka la ngwane lomuhle isikhathi lesivumela sisibeke la kephathini siyachubeka siyakufokota kakhulu ukuhlalisana nawe phezulu uhlanganyele nathi evikini letako ngaso sikhathi lesifanako samukele sibe khoza nalo lonke libandle lesina hlelo Tasephalamende sithi usuku lobuhle ngwane
It's time.
Options gathering in the middle. He fancies it himself. It's Archer. It's in.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds, full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, to feel the rush of life overwhelm you, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be.